Thank you very much, sir. It's now time for our much orator, especially my friends and my Sanskrit friends here. Our keynote address on the wonder that is Sanskrit. I'm honored to invite Dr. Teerakiat Jaroensettasin, MD, former Minister of Education of Thailand and scholar in Sanskrit and Para studies, to share his insight.
Ganapati Kumhavamahe Kaving Kavina Rupamashravastamam Jeshtarajam Brahmanam Brahmanaspata Anashrunvannu Divisi Dasadanam Prano Devi Saraswati Vaje Bruvajinivati Tinama Vitriyavatu Ganeshaya Namaha Saraswatyai Namaha Shri Guru Rupyo Namaha Hari Om. I am not a scholar of Sanskrit. I'm a lover of Sanskrit. I think this is more important. You have to be reminded by Sri Shankaracharya when he admonished a Sanskrit scholar that you will not get liberation if you are just preoccupied with grammar and so on. You have to be devoted to the divine. Then that's why he started teaching Pajagovindam. So if I could do this, I think young people here could also do this. I am a medic by profession. When I first saw this hymn, I couldn't make heads or tails. I want to show you the first slide. Can I have the slide? First, while we are waiting for slide, we have to remember language is sound, nothing but sound. And we have to start learning by the sound of the language. When we talk about English, we're actually using Roman script. It's not A, B, C, D that is English. So if you don't access the sound correctly, you probably won't be able to understand the language. And I still remember Ajahn Jirpat has always said that one of the most important reasons that we do not understand India, particularly Indian philosophy, is because we don't understand Sanskrit. It was communicated, it was taught in Sanskrit language. So the prayer, for instance, if you want to start something, forget about the elephant head. But if you want to start something, you want to invoke the blessing of the leaders of the beings, Ganapati. Kana, in fact, Kana in Thai. Pati mean Pati, the leader of the group of the higher beings, the Deva. You can see that, Gananaan, even the sound, not arm is on because it's then what we call Santi with B. Then you have to change it to na. But these are the rules that you will learn later. Then you can see the second that I highlight is it has to be pronounced Brahman. But you often come across professors of Sanskrit pronouncing Brahma. Brahma is completely different from Brahman. And this is one of the two exceptions in Sanskrit. Sanskrit is perfect because whatever you see, you can almost guess the pronunciation. In English, when you see P-U-T, you pronounce put. But when you see B-U-T, you pronounce but. Why is that? Even tomatoes. Now, in America, they pronounce tomato. In England, they pronounce tomato. There are a lot of variations in pronunciation. You don't find this in Sanskrit at all. If you study it correctly, then you find that pronunciation is always consistent, constant. You can get it right, except the two. And this I was taught by Shankaracharya of Kanchipuram. He was already gone, but I learned. And I was glad in somewhat I met one of his devotees, very close devotees. He actually wrote in the Vedas book that there are only two exceptions. One is when can we go back? Plumhan, M is pronounced before her. Plumhan. In Thai, very interesting. If you transliterate it into Thai, po, ro, ho, mo. In fact, you skip ho. But if you try to pronounce correct literally according to the letters, you have to say pon maนะครับ, which is wrong. That is Brahman. So that's why you hear Jesharaj, Jampamhanam, Pramhanaspada Anasrinwan. So again, I'll tell you the other exception you may be dying to know. If you know these two exceptions, then your pronunciation of Sanskrit will always be correct. Let alone the meanings. The meaning is really, really powerful. Can I go to the next slide? Sir William Jones, a polyglot. He is a genius. He studied everything. He said Sanskrit language, whatever be its antiquity, is of a wonderful structure, more perfect than the Greek, more copious than the Latin, and more exquisitely refined than either. I had some good opportunities to study both Latin and Greek. I can tell you Sanskrit is far, far superior. That's why it's called Sanskrit. Sanskrita means the most refined, the most perfect language in the world. That's why it's called Deva Pasa. That means ภาษาของพระเจ้า ภาษาของเทวดา Now the next one, when I came across this, I was completely stunned. I keep quoting this and remembering this. This next slide. Mahatma Gandhi said, if all the Upanishads and all the other scriptures happened all of a sudden to be reduced to ashes, and if only the first verse in the Upanishads were left in the memory of the Hindus, Hinduism will live forever. Now, if you come across this sentence, would you be dying to know what that verse is? Now, when I read the first verse, then you can trace that everything is from, all the cultures of humanity stem from this. That's why Mahatma Gandhi was actually saying this. Can you all see the first verse? Have a look. Ishavasyamitam sarvam yatkincha jagatyam jagat tena tyakena punchita ma krita kasya vajam vitanam. You know, the word Isha, does it remind you Ishu, Ishwara, Iswan in Thai? As His Excellency the Ambassador was saying, words Iswan mean the Lord. The Lord means the Lord. เจ้านายผู้สูงสุด the Lord พระเยซูคำเดียวกันหมดนะครับ talking to the young Thais. Now, I want to show you the translation. Before I was able to study Sanskrit, I had to read the translation. The first translation is from a professor of Sanskrit in the West, who was pronouncing Brahman as Brahma, okay? But he knows grammars very well. And he translated that the whole world is to be dwelt in the Lord. Whatever living being there is in the world. So you should eat what has been abandoned and do not covet anyone's wealth. I couldn't make sense why you should eat what is abandoned. Now then, when I knew Sanskrit, then I knew why he translated that way. The second was translated by an Indian professor of English. Remember, the first translated by professor of Sanskrit, second by the Indian professor of English. The Lord is enshrined in the hearts of all. The Lord is supreme, the supreme reality. Rejoice in him through renunciation. Covet nothing. All belongs to the Lord. All this is this is professor of English. Starts to make sense. And I asked a professor of English at Cambridge, my good friend, he said, makes some sense, makes a good sense. In fact, it's a good English sentence. The third is translated by a great contemporary saint, a saint, okay? All this is for the habitation by the Lord. Whatever is individual universe of movement in the universal motion, by that renounce thou should enjoy. Lust not after any man's possession. The fourth is translated by a great philosopher, a great politician. If I tell you the name, everybody knows. Okay? All this, whatever moves in the moving world, is enveloped by the God. Therefore, find your enjoyment in renunciation. Do not covet what belongs to others. And the last one, the Lord inhabits the whole universe. Rejoice in renunciation. Do not covet anyone's wealth. The last one was translated by me. And when I showed this to professor of English, contemporary professor in Cambridge, he said he likes the last one the most, simply because it's concise, it's to the point, because you have to understand all the first four were translated into passive voice, because it's how Sanskrit language was constructed. In itself, Sanskrit has no ego. It doesn't say me, I do this. Often it's done in passive voice. So that's why it's translated that way. But in our contemporary world, you can say what you do without having ego either. Now you can say the Lord inhabits the whole universe, rather than saying the universe is enshrined by the Lord, or is lived by the Lord. And so, again, to young people, if I could do this, you can also do. It's not difficult. It's just you get to the understanding of it, and then you have the authority, because the language then was communicated not in a complicated ways. We think Sanskrit is difficult, but it's not. Now, next one. Next one is an addition, because I like this one. It's the second verse of the Ishopanishad. Basically, it's a thus working, may one wish to live 100 years. Thus alone will one work in real freedom. I love this because we are in this modern world crazy about longevity. You want to live long. This is the secret of how you want to live long. If you sacrifice, if you if you rejoice in renunciation, if you detach from the fruits of your action, if you sacrifice, keep doing this, no selfishness, as Kutatha Bhikkhu say, no toku kongku, no ego, then only then you may wish to live 100 years. You can see, in India, we celebrate people who live 100 years. In fact, it's true. Some evil people, we don't want them to live even for a few more years. Now, for those who are good, they should wish, and we should wish that they live 100 years. The next slide, please. Before the next slide, I just went to India. I had great fortune of going to Shirdi Temple, whom I regard as my guru. And then I was glad because there was a picture of Prime Minister Modi paying respect to Shirdi Sai Baba as well. Next one is a story about Shirdi Sai Baba's knowledge of Sanskrit, which is a stun to people who lived around him then. They thought he is a mad fakir living in a a monk in a hut. Okay. One day he was talking to his devotee, Nana Sahib Chandaka. Can I have? And that Sanskrit scholar was studying Bhagavad Gita. So Shirdi Sai Baba then, can we have the next slide? Asked him, Nana Sahib, what are you reading? What are you reciting? He was mumbling the Bhagavad Gita. Then he was reciting that Bhagavad Gita, 4th chapter, verse 34. Tat viti pranipatena paripachnena sevaya upadekshayanti te janam janinas tat tatva darshinaha. So Nana Sahib then translate that by serving, you should serve, you should inquire, you should worship. Then you can ask those who have seen the truth to teach you. Okay. Then Shirdi Baba said, no, I don't want a summary. I want you to translate word by word. So he then asked Nana Sahib to translate word by word, start from Tat Viti, and then really come to Pranipatena, and then Paripashnena. For instance, Paripashnena means Prashna, Prasna Thai ko means Prashna, in inquiry. Then Shirdi asked, why did Vyas or Krishna add Pari then? Why is it that we need a prefix? Then the scholar couldn't answer. They thought in order to make the metric right, to make the number of words right. But Shirdi Baba said no. There's a difference between when you add pari means you really seriously inquire, and sevaya. And then when it comes to this upadekshayanti, te janam. When it comes to this, then Shirdi Sai Baba asked Nana Sahib, can you replace janam with another word? And Nana Sahib say, can't. Then Shirdi Baba said, if you replace it ajanam, it's a completely opposite meaning. Ajana means ignorance. Jnana means knowledge. Would the verse be the same? Yes, because when you have a janam, you have to remove in Sanskrit grammar. You cannot have after E, after A. So he said actually the meaning, the original meaning that Vyas wants is a janam. Then if you look at all the translation of Bhagavad Gita, every single translation, it will translate like this. You go to see those who have seen, and those people will teach you knowledge. Shirdi Sai Baba said, you cannot teach knowledge. You cannot teach wisdom. It's impossible. Like what the Buddha said, you cannot teach what nirvana is. You can only say what is not nirvana. You can only say what is ignorance. So, in fact, the original meaning for this word is you go to see those who know, and they will teach you ignorance, what ignorance is, and you avoid ignorance. So suddenly, I was fascinated. I began to understand the deeper meaning of this verse in Bhagavad Gita. Next is another by, again, my guru, Satya Sai Baba. I just want to show you Ananyas Chintayanto. This verse is also well known. Think of me without any other thoughts. The God says, Krishna says, then I'll look after you. Yoga Shema Vahamyam, I'll look after you. You just place your devotion to me. Think of me all the time, without any other thought. Satya Sai Baba said, the word Ananyas, we know in English, another. Ananyas could mean another, could mean other, could mean the other. All the translation mention any other, but Satya Sai Baba said this word Krishna meant the other. Think of me without the other thought. Only then you have Advaita. One without a second. You cannot say, think of me without any other thought, because that is not possible. You know, if I think of Krishna all the time, without any other thought, I can't do any work. But if I think of Krishna without the other thought, without the world thought, that's what Shankara say, that is Advaita. Then it's non-dualistic. Again, once you understand the deeper meaning that Ananya, because in Sanskrit, we have one word for other, another, the other. Okay? Now, I'm coming to my last 2 or 3 slides, and you can see why Sanskrit is not only wondrous, it's wonderful as well. This actually has to be written in one single sentence, not separate words because of Santi, but I separate so that you understand. When we talk about yoga nowadays, modern people say, you know, it's not a contortion of body. What is yoga? Patanjali defines yoga. Yoga's chitta vritti nirodha. The word nirod is already there. Okay? So yoga is the shutting down. Rodha means shutting. But you remember when we add prefix, ni, shutting down completely, irreversibly. Because we can shut down our vritti entirely, have vritti, pritikam nghe, ความประพฤติ the movement of the mind. Yoga is a shutting down completely, irreversibly of the movement of the mind, so that it will not come back again. So this is a definition of yoga. But contemporary will trans yoga comes from yoga and come from, you know, yoga meaning union with God and so on. But this is what Patanjali defined yoga, and the next almost 195 verses are about how to do that. And when you do that, what is the result? And this Buddhist may be familiar. We understand this Brahma Vihara, but it's already there. Maitri, Karuna, Mudita Upekshanam, Metta Karuna, Mudita Upekha. What's for what? Maitri for happiness, wish you happy. Karuna for unhappiness, wish you getting out of unhappiness. Now Mudita for punya. And Upekha, we often translates indifference. Indifference to what? Indifference to apunya, to evil. So we are indifferent to evil, otherwise we may hate evil. Then you swing to another extreme. Now, when you know Sanskrit, you can go much deeper. Because people tell you the wonder of Sanskrit is you can access all branches of knowledge, be it medicine, astronomy, astrology, everything, including architecture, design, vastu, everything stems from what we call the Vedas. So the Vedas is the root of all knowledge. But Vedas has mother. The mother of Vedas, if you ask real pundits, they will tell you that the mother of Vedas is Gayatri Mantra. If you understand this, the deep meaning is so deep, that's why it's the most powerful mantra, short mantra. Om Bhuru Bhuvaswaha Tat Savitur Varenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Diyo Yo Na Prachodayat. From the Rig Veda. So what you now hear is 6,000, 5,000 years ago. Same thing. Now, I want to tell you this is the second exception of pronunciation. When ha is combined with ba, the ha becomes fa, small fa. So that's why you hear diyo yo naf af, yo naf prachodayat. Okay, so, and also shanti. We actually don't pronounce shanti because is followed by shan. Shantish, Shantish, Shantihi. Anyhow, you can access the Mother Vedas. And you can also access the essence of all the Vedas. The Vedas is voluminous, it's big, 4 Vedas. But Sri Rudram, according to all the Vedic scholar, is the essence of all Vedas. It's the most powerful mantra. It's the most protective mantra. We think it's actually praising Shiva, Lord Shiva, but actually it's more than that. If you really go into Sri Rudram, you understand this. Now I want to end by chanting, not singing. What I'm going to do is the first chapter of Anuvaka. It's 3 minutes. I'd like you all to listen to this very, very powerful mantra. You can close your eyes as well if you want to. But this is the oral transmission, the oral tradition that we learn. And as I said, Sanskrit is sound. Why you see it's very beautiful. Means something like, have you heard this? Asatoma satkamaya, tamasoma jyoti kamaya, mrityoma amritam kamaya. I've seen Western from untruth lead us to truth, from darkness lead us to light, from death lead us to immortality. It doesn't have any power at all. You try that. It doesn't have any power. So the sound itself is really, really powerful. So I like to end by chanting Sri Rudram. Just first Anuvaka, the whole chant itself is about 30 minutes. So I'm only doing 3 minutes, 1/10. Okay? And again, if I can do, you all can do. I spend, I would say, hundreds of hours memorizing, listening, learning, studying, and it's quite rewarding. Okay, so I'd like you to all maybe sit straight because I don't have the script there. This is the same as you would have heard 5,000 years ago from your guru. And it's called Shruti because it's revealed to you through hearing, to see. In fact, it was forbidden in the past to have script. But nowadays, modern people, short life, poor memory, we need some script. Even though I can remember, for fear of making a mistake, I have to have a small script in front of me. Om Namo Bhagavate Rudraya. Om Namaste Rudramanyavauto Daishave Namaha. Namaste Astu Tanvane Bahupyam Utate Namaha. Yata Ishut Shivatama Shivam Bapuvate Tanuhu. Shiva Sharafyaya Tavatayano Rudramridaya. Yate Rudra Shiva Tanura Kora Papakashini. Dayanastanu Shantamaya Kirishanta Pichakashi. Yamishung Kirishanta Haste Viprasyastave. Shivam Kiri Tratang Kurumayikum Siv Purushan Jakate. Shive Navachasatva Kirishat Shavadamasi. Yatha Nasarva Mitchakada Yakshmakum Sumana Asat. Atyavocha Dadivakta Pratamo Daivyo Pishak. Ahiskutcha Sarvaan Champayan Sarvaan Jayatutanyaha. Asoyastamro Arunavapa Prustu Mangalaha. Ye Jema Kum Rudra Apito Dikshushita Sahasshasho Vaisha Kum Heda Imahe. Asauyo Vasapati Nilakrivo Vilohitaha. Utainang Kopa Adushan Nudahatyaha. Utainam Vishwa Bhutani Tadrishto Mudriyatinaha. Namo Astu Nilakrivaya Sahasrakshaya Mitushe. Adoye Asya Satvano Hamte Pyokara Namaha. ประมุนจะทันวันุสวตุประโยชน์รานิโยตยามยาสจะเหตุอัปหัสตอิชวัปปราตาภะคะโววปาอวตัตยธนุสวกุงสหัสราชชเตสุเตนิชียชัญญานามุขาชิโวนัสสุมนาภวาวิทยัมธนุกปัตติโนวิชาวโยบานวากุมอุตาอเนชันนัจเยชวะอาปุรัสยนิชังกติหิยาเตเหตรุมิดุสตมหัสเตปภูวเตธนุตยาสมานวิชวตัสวะจักมยาปริพุจานมัสเตอัสตายุธานยานัตตตายวิชนุเรอุปาพยามุตเตนะโมบาหุพยามตวทันวเนปริเตทันวโนเหตุรัสมานวฤกนตุดิชตาวิชวตหาอโทเยอิชุติสววาเรอัสมันนิเทหิตัมNamaste astu bhagavan Vishveshwaraya Mahadevaya Trambakaya Tika Tipurataya Kalagniruddhaya Tilakandaya Mrityunjaya Sarveshwaraya Sadashivaya Sriman Mahadevaya Namaha. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir, for your powerful insight and inspiring words.